Can we just real talk? The making of narcissists. I can't stop thinking about this, and my thoughts are too convoluted for a comment section again. Hi there. Welcome back, or welcome if you are new. This is where we trash talk coercive groups and high control religions, and try to humanize our subjects when we can, so we can march forward into the future, where we bring paradise to earth by not being dicks to each other. So, if that sounds like something you'd be into, subscribe. And yes, I see you, new subscribers. Hey Pookie! Thank you for subscribing. Okay, so I can't stop thinking about how Dee Dee Blanchard, allegedly, in the internet's opinion, did not have Munchausen by proxy. You can't diagnose a person with a mental illness if if all their mental processes have stopped because they're not alive anymore. But instead, most likely saw an opportunity in Gypsy Rose's micro-deletion disorder to exploit a lot of good people's good nature and desire to help anybody that they see in need. She was grifting her way through life, it would seem. And this keeps reminding me, of course, of Resilient Jenkins. Everybody's talking about it, it's been on my mind a lot, right? And all their grifty-ass nonsense. It's been my non-expert opinion for a while now that narcissists, psychopaths are made, not born, at least most of the time. Sometimes from horrific physical, psychological abuse. Sometimes with responsibility-denying coddling, helicopter parenting to the point that the child never faces repercussions for their actions. But either way, I think, at least right now, I didn't used to think this, but now I think that all those kids who grow up to be awful people were not raised with patience and kindness and rational thinking, in action displayed by the parent, but with a bunch of irrational actions. Constant emotional turmoil. Someone forgot to teach these children empathy, and they likely were denied access to a healthy community, so they see all other people as something different than them. In the case of a coddler who is also teaching their child to take advantage of and exploit others, they will surely, in my opinion, grow up to see all other people as an object to be used in order to get what they want. People are just a means to an end. And I can't help but see a correlation there with Steph and Andrew, or Drew, or whatever he wants to be called. Not just grifting on TikTok. I woke up. Not just grifting on TikTok and exploiting the good nature of their viewers for free stuff. They involve their children in the content, directly interacting with the free stuff, sometimes directly interacting with the viewers. They're in the thick of it, being taught that it isn't worth it to work a job when there are so many suckers out there. As an aside, and because I never just want to insult someone like I'm probably doing right now, without trying to balance it out with something that's kind of nice and also true, right? I don't ever just have only negative feelings, because these are human beings we're talking about. Folks on TikTok have been pointing out that Drew's son that he brought into the relationship seems to never be wearing the new pajamas or new shoes. His shoes look really ratty and old compared to the other kids. They're implying that maybe he's not being treated as well as her kids are, which is that's possible. I mean, you see that with step parents and stepchildren. That's a dynamic that there's a reason it's a trope, right? Because it does happen. And then she posted this response on TikTok that I saw the other day.
When I tell you this is some bullshit,
I have to say, it kind of made me laugh because on the one hand, she could just be like getting him the stuff now, giving him the stuff now, and like showing the effort now just to kind of go, see, y'all are so wrong, that I don't do that, see, clearly, and then like she's just doing it for this purpose, and she doesn't normally treat him well. So she could be lying, and honestly, I could see her doing that. But I have a boy as well, and he will not wear a pair of shoes that feel wrong on his feet. He's got big, wide feet, that are just hard to find shoes that fit him comfortably, and he's just really sensitive to that. It'll bother him all day, so he just won't wear them. He would wear Crocs in the winter before he would wear some of these shoes that we bought, like boots that just aren't, fitted to his feet. He won't wear them. Yeah, so there have been times where he would wear the uglier, rattier pair of shoes as opposed to the brand new pair we got him, because they just didn't feel right on him. It's funny, today he was about to get on the bus and I was like, hey, turn around. And then I was like, yeah, I thought so. There's a hole in your pants. So right before the bus came, he had to go change his pants. Like, you gotta let your kids dress themselves so that they can learn they need to know how to dress themselves by doing it, right? And I just try to catch him before he goes out the door and make sure he looks okay, because people are so judgmental and automatically think you're a bad parent if your kid doesn't look right? But it's a learning process, there's gonna be a lot of bumps along that road, I think, for a lot of kids, no matter what kind of a rich or poor household they grow up in. It might still be a learning curve for them to start dressing better, but you can't just dress them, until they're 10, 12, 14, 15 years old. They need to be dressing themselves, right? So yeah, I'm sort of defending stuff a little bit on that one. Just a little, because we don't. What are you doing, girl? We don't actually know anything about that dynamic. We don't. So it's a big jump to just assume that he's not being treated right because he's not wearing the cute new shoes. That's a jump, I think. But that's just my personal experience as a poor and as a mother. Kids do be that way sometimes. I'm really much more concerned that they're creating a Gypsy Rose in that home. Or a few Gypsy Roses. They may not grow up to murder anyone, God forbid. But that's not the only way that Gypsy Rose has been harmful to society, if we recall. She's also walking free while a man sits in prison for committing the crime that she came up with. She has attacked multiple creators on TikTok that I know of. She abandoned her marriage and is now pregnant outside of that wedlock. You guys know she was a thief too, right? Do you remember that all coming out? And who's to say that that has stopped? Why would it have stopped? Worst of all, she is on a campaign now, not to advocate for prison reform, like she said she would, but to sell her book. about her favorite person in the whole world, herself, seeking to directly profit off the schmurdering of her mom, who may have been a little bit of a sideways bitch. Not to speak ill of the dead, but her character, a little sideways, I think. But she didn't deserve to die for that. None of the crimes that Dee Dee allegedly committed warranted the death penalty. And the little whip was like 22 years old. She could have left. Nobody would have brought her back. She was an adult. She could have left. Which means she's still out here lying to everybody. Now she's Gypsy Rose. And she's been losing it this past week.
So Gypsy Rose Blanchard posted this, and it reads, "Everyone knew my past when I was released, and y'all were shouting queen. And now, almost a year later, I'm being bullied and harassed non-stop. Accountability begins when you decide." Y'all, it seems like it's a clock and tea kind of day, so let's talk about it. Gypsy Rose Blanchard, and this is directed towards you, ma'am. You said that everybody was praising you and calling you queen, and now almost a year later, basically everybody's turned their backs. You did a podcast on Nick Viles, and you said this, and this was the beginning of when people realized you didn't take accountability, and you are a problem. Furthermore, a lot of people did not know that you had a chromosome disorder. Nobody knew that. So a lot of what you were saying, people believed that your mom had Munchausen by proxy. And we found out later that she didn't. That's the difference. Your lies caught up with you. But let's watch this.
I don't associate myself as a murderer because if you think about it, yes, I had a part to play in it. I asked Nick for help. And how that conversation started was, he was saying that he would protect me from anyone. I said anyone. He said yes. I said even my mother. He said yes. And then the plan kind of formed from there. But he's the one that did the actual kill, not me. I can't kill anyone. That's why he's in trouble to begin with, because he's the one that did it. So when they say I'm a murderer, I don't identify it.
So she clearly stated that she doesn't identify as a murderer. Wasn't that the beginning of when we realized that she was a manipulator and she likes to manipulate words, specifically because that's what she did in this segment?
Seems like Ken might be cooling. Like the Tori Amos song, "Faster Than She Can."
This is cooling faster than I can.
Now she's claiming that we're all bullying her. You want me to open the window, baby? I'll open the window for you. Okay. Where was I? Now she's claiming that we're all bullying her. And I'm sure that's how she feels from her perspective. Or monumental lack thereof. She doesn't have the self-awareness to see what we see. I think Dee Dee probably actively taught Gypsy not to be self-aware, so that the inevitable guilt and shame would not get in the way of their work. As long as Gypsy Rose and Steph and Drew Jenkins continue their work of making people feel sorry enough for them to give them handouts, I and everybody else is going to keep talking about it. It's not just about them. These people are probably too far gone. It's about the kids in the world being raised to become malignant narcissists. Parents all around the world who are just like these people. And are starting down a path, but could be convinced to turn it around. It has to become a matter of public discourse so that we can move forward as a society. These kids are literally our future. Thank you so much for watching. If you have anything to add or you just want to tell me how wrong I am, please leave a comment down below. I love reading your comments, even when they're saucy. As long as it's not like, boo, girls should be silent. Shut up, kitchen wench. Those are what I call Theo bros, like theology bros. We all know they're unhinged. You probably need prayer, therapy. Some of them prison. Also, like the video if you liked it, and subscribe. And oh, if you're on Blue Sky, I'm on there now, so you can go follow me over there. I'm Katie Why Not. I don't post a whole lot, but I've been trying to. I just adore that little butterfly up in my notification bar. That's probably my favorite app logo ever. It's so cute. Don't join any cults. Watch out for money-hungry, grifty people. If you are a parent, please do think about what you are teaching your babies about the world than about themselves. I love you guys so much. Have a great weekend. Bye. Say bye. Say bye, babies. This is cooling faster than I